Welcome back, everybody. Sorry about that delay. We experienced a little bit of technical issues. We are trying to iron out, make sure we got the players all situated with that. But cutting back to at least where we left you, game number two has finished. We were able to find that PENNASAUKEN was able to conquer that adversity, get that second match win, and they are on to match point here in this best of five semifinal, trying to stamp their way onto the grand final. But Jose Marti getting back into it a little bit, although at least in game two, it was an improvement on game number one, but still just wasn't quite enough.
Yeah, no, and you're going to look to see them make yet another adjustment here in this game, as they had to make an adjustment from game one to game two, and it did improve, but now they're going to have to adjust again from game two to game three, and we'll see if they have the gas in the tank to force a game four here as we're just about to get underway.
So now we're gonna have to really witness the adaptability of Jose Marti. They've gotten to the semifinals, and that was through group stages earlier in the week. So played a long time to get to this point, and certainly they do not want their run to end in a semifinal sweep. So 5 minutes on the clock to determine what they have up their sleeves. So far, the defensive consistency they're getting from game number two is at least coming through so far, although it's playing a little fast and loose in front of the goal. Commit's going to try and commit to a little bit of a air dribble. Will get cleared out, though. Ninja Brandon can't get that mid boost. So Dozy not getting the touches I think they're looking for either. Unable Lime takes over. No tap. Amazing Cuban will send it back into midfield. So a little bit of ping pong to start out game number three.
Yeah, no, a little bit of a midfield battle going on here, both teams. Neither of them really pushing that hard, but what I was noticing early was, ooh, wow, okay, Risk with with a really nice dribble play around the PENNASAUKEN defense. I was just about to say that Jose Marti was falling into that same trap where they were kind of bunching up in defense and then letting them play in the front of their net, but they did get a good clear there, and they were able to put the first goal up on the board. So for two games now, we see Jose Marti scoring first, but now we need to see that they're able to hold on to it, because last game they weren't able to and ended up giving up the game in overtime.
Yeah, and something that I really need to point out is Risk for Jose Marti is someone that not only is scoring the goals for Jose Marti, but more importantly, it seems like PENNASAUKEN doesn't really have an answer for when Risk is feeling themselves. It's definitely something that they're going to have to look out for. So he's been really the primary offensive threat for Jose Marti, and he's getting some nice looks at goal and be able to march downfield and generate some awkward opportunities. It's really, in my opinion, up to Jose Marti to make sure they're following up and supporting them well, not necessarily just feeding them passes, more so just making sure that Risk is causing a lot of havoc. Sometimes the best offense is just capitalizing on that havoc, putting good follow-ups in, and seeing what comes from it, as havoc is trying to be caused by on that late line, but that one going to go just a little bit wide. So 2 minutes in, Jose Marti again finding first goal of the game, and this time trying to hold on to it.
Yeah, they're trying to hold on, and as you mentioned earlier with Risk, he is absolutely, at least right now, standing out to me as their offensive powerhouse. So if I'm PENNASAUKEN, just like earlier, if I was Jose Marti, I was saying, hey, pay attention to Dozy, because he's doing a lot on the offensive side. Now if I'm PENNASAUKEN, I'm saying, hey, pay attention to Risk, because he's going to be making a lot of mayhem in your own zone. So be sure you have someone on him, but don't overcommit to him as well. It's a difficult rotation in Rocket League when you have that one guy that's known to be the powerhouse. And again, PENNASAUKEN adjusting well to Jose Marti's readjustment, and now they're able to tie this game with about 2.5 left in the game.
Really well done by Dozy. I mean, to be honest, I saw the player in Risk go up for that ball on the sideline, and really I was confident that they were going to touch that. Both of the Jose Marti defenders started moving up, anticipating that clear up, but instead Dozy just sideswipes the ball right in and makes a play all the way on their own, getting a nice goal in there, beating out all the defenders. And it's why we mentioned the clumping up early, but it's also making sure your option coverage. If you want to send a player up, you have to make sure someone maybe is back to cover some dangerous opportunities like that one, and maybe the follow commit. Two great opportunities coming through from PENNASAUKEN, both going to go by the wayside on the counterattack. Risk just going to lob that one down. PENNASAUKEN might be wanting that one back, but they're still in it 1-1 with 2 minutes to go, and they're looking to stay on offense with Commit. Now into the middle with Dozy. Risk is going to tap that one across the goal, not quite in. We're going to keep playing 1-1 with under 2 minutes to go.
Yeah, and like we said earlier, Pennsauken has been very good in terms of adjusting mid-game to a readjustment by Jose Marti, and you see them doing it again here, where they're able to turn around from that first. Oh boy! And just as I swear they hear me. It's got to be a curse or something, because every time I'm about to say something, they turn around and do that, and Risk flexing his offensive muscle again. The confusing bounce shot goes through both Pennsauken defensemen, and now they have the lead with a minute and a half left in the game.
Yeah, welcome to casting, my friend. That's the caster curse that you all know so much about. It's a power we must yield with a great responsibility. But the players from Jose Marti certainly doing well. But I think we saw actually elements of what that last goal was yesterday in some of the matches, where it just seems like some players get beat by a seemingly simple shot, and part of it is just you don't anticipate it. It's like a changeup in baseball in a way. You expect a shot to come blazing at you or a certain angle, and instead, even if it's a much slower bounce, it's just not at the angle you expected. And sometimes you don't make contact. So 60 seconds remaining. Jose Marti just trying to hold on to things. Defense a little bit spread out in rotation, but all they got to do is just make sure they do not collapse like last game, and they can extend this series out.
Yeah, and I think you're going to look to see Jose Marti start playing like a lockdown defense style of play, where they're not going to focus as much as rotating out into the offensive zone instead of just clearing the ball. They're probably just going to, as they do right there, just work on getting the ball down into the corner. And you see right there, Risk just tapping it, keeping it in the corner, not following up to the net. So they're looking to just kind of lock down this game and make sure that they can hold on to the lead and force a game four.
I like that play by Amazing Cuban. At times they've been just throwing the ball downfield, but on that one, I like that it's not just hitting it straight forward, it's hitting it around the defender, as you mentioned, holding the ball up, getting things annoying, and burning off a lot of seconds off the clock with 10 seconds nearly remaining. One more chance coming through from Jose Marti. They're not taking any chances. Amazing Cuban rotating all the way back, Risk standing up on the midfield. They know they just have to get this ball down to the ground, and they will. So Jose Marti is making the adjustments, looking better and better, starting to warm up here. Series back within one game.
Yeah, and playing with their backs to the wall, there was a lot going against them here, and they were able to defy the odds, turn the game around, and maybe this is turning the series around. But Pensauken is still on match point, so they don't want to get complacent with themselves. That was a good adjustment. Risk really leading the way there with all of the shots on net and both of Jose Marti's goals, but a good defensive rotation did fix some of their problems there. But I did still see some of the old problems where they did get caught punching up at times. They didn't get the ball cleared as far down as they wanted at times. So the adjustment was good, and they were able to take the game. Still looking to see a little bit more to kind of solidify the play and really make this series back to bring it back to even square. That's what they're going to be trying to do this next game here.
And it's interesting to see the complete shift in mentality, because we saw Pensacola really just pouring pressure on, but in a way, in game one rather. But really, that was not changed as much as just that the fact that they felt comfortable doing that. Game number two, once that Risk and company started to really start to present an offensive threat, it's really that Pensacola does not trust themselves to throw themselves up on offense nearly as much. I think part of that is the fact that it shows how a cleaner rotation can actually yield onto better offense, which therefore then will help your defense. That allows you to actually get upfield, get boost, and make sure you're not just dealing with this constant onslaught of pressure. So at least going into game number four, that's the curious thing that I'm seeing from Jose Marti, is that they're willing to space out more. They're getting at least solid enough contact. They're holding up attacks. And at least from there, I'm not seeing something from Pensacola that is really threatening anymore. They were going for air dribbles. They're going for these backboard reads, but now it just seems like they're really just smashing the ball forward. And I don't see the plan that I saw necessarily in game number one from them.
And I think if I'm Pensacola, I'm trying to get back to that game one mentality, right? One of the biggest things in Rocket League is being confident in yourself and being confident in your own pushes. And they need that confidence in order to win games. If you're playing unconfident in your own self, then you're not going to win games. So look to see them play with a little bit more confidence going in here, pour that offense on like they did with game one, and then that's going to be what they're going to be trying to do early on here.
Certainly taking their time on that clear. We're going to see unable line there. We're able to take advantage and get a shot off, though deflected just a little bit. Josie in the midfield. Going to try to follow again. Just a little bit of a deflection into Brandon. It's actually trying to turn around in time. Risk will cover them. Able to roll it down the line. Another ball into the Pensacola corner. Ninja Brandon goes forward, decides to turn away for this one. Quick rotation, Amazing Cuban, though, is going to yield a little bit of a hit. Risk is up for it, but that's quite the angle. Shows wide, no contact. Unable Lime, waiting for the outlet pass, has a shot from a tough angle, and they actually almost get it to go just a bit wide, and Risk will flick back. So good back and forth, fast-paced action here. Start off game number 4 as the ball continues to make laps around the field.
Yeah, no, certainly more of a focus on offense right here in this game. And oh, unfortunate there for Dozy as he just pings it off the top left corner there. Oh, that's got to sting, but they got to get back to their rotation. Don't worry about that last shot. Just keep pushing the offense on right now.
Yeah, it's frustrating you don't get the lead, but you haven't lost it. But as I say, that Risk with a hook shot, almost putting that one on target. Ninja Brandon just keeping it alive. Risk with the half rotation, sets themselves up really well, but a great denial by Dozy. Amazing Cuban gonna have to hold down the fort in the backfield. They get beat by the shot, but Ninja Brandon does not. Still playing on. 90 seconds in, 0-0, and both teams going straight for the jugular on some of these attacks.
This is certainly, both teams look completely different. You're seeing PENNASAUKEN with a return to their Game 1 style where they're just trying to lay on the pressure, but Jose Marti taking a page out of their book and starting off with pressure as well. But Commit's able to read that nice aerial pass from Unable Lime. It bounces off the defender, and he's able to tap that in. Oh, Dozy actually got a touch up there that settled the ball down. That was a really good passing play by PENNASAUKEN.
And they're able to take advantage. Part of it is set up by a little bit of an errant touch on the back post from Jose Marti. Sometimes what happens when you think a ball's going in, you just feel like you need to touch it. And unfortunately, deflection is not what the doctor ordered. So as we're waiting for the final minutes to tick across, Jose Marti just trying to stay alive. Good improvised saves there. We'll keep it at 1-0, but PENNASAUKEN slowly slinking forward, trying to get some more pressure. They're certainly more comfortable attaching players to plays. That's 2 being sent on that last one. Enable Lime gonna try to get another one on the double tap. They don't get it in, but they will be able to put it right on the goal line. Commit comes crashing in for number 2.
Commit has really opened up this game. You know, you saw him hang out in the defensive zone a lot more in the first 3 games of this set, but now you're seeing him hang around in the offensive side a little bit more, and he's putting in nice setup plays from his teammates here as PENNASAUKEN now has the 2-goal lead going into this one.
Dozy on the redirect off the kickoff. Not going to find the target. Amazing Cuban on the chase. Will lend heed to Risk and Ninja Brandon. So a little bit of panic starting to set in for Jose Marti. Understandably, their bracket run ends with a loss in this match, and it's only getting harder. Unable Lime getting on top of that pass, and now the lead extended to 3.
Commit showing he doesn't only score, but he passes too with a really nice backboard pass for Unable Lime. Pulled the defenseman from Jose Marti into that corner, got him bunched up again. They're starting to fall into those same errors where they get bunched up in that corner, and their other defender hadn't rotated correctly, so he was still in the corner, and as a result of that, they had an open net to shoot at, and now they lead 3-0.
A little bit of experimentation coming through from PENNASAUKEN. They're feeling themselves. They're going for some backboard read double tap passing, from what I can tell. But certainly they have every reason to feel confident. They've struggled a little bit down the stretch of this series, but they've gotten it together when it matters most, and now they're just trying to show off a bit with some double taps. And ultimately, even if they miss, it's wasting a lot of time. It's 3-0 with under 2 minutes to go. Not necessarily an insurmountable lead for Jose Marti to come back on. However, it's certainly going to be something a little bit difficult, especially since Jose Marti in this game 4 only being able to register 1 shot so far, which is a bit anomalous compared to their performance as they've been kind of on this steady increase.
No, this is almost a mirror image of game 1 that we saw, right? Where PENNASAUKEN was really laying it on and Jose Marti was getting caught in the defensive zone and then not putting much in terms of shots on net on. And it's exactly what the doctor ordered for PENNASAUKEN, but for Jose Marti, who was really trying to fix and adjust to their game, and as I say that, the caster's curse strikes again, and Jose Marti turns it around. Risk with another goal, this time with a nice shot off the wall. Brings them within 2 goals with 1:05 left. Plenty of time for them to come back here.
Yeah, but on this one, that's something that PENNASAUKEN is, I'm not necessarily sure if that'll be their collapse because there's only 65 seconds remaining, but they're spreading out really far and sometimes just allowing opportunities that arguably shouldn't necessarily be present. I mean, they're dealing with the pressure now very well, but that last one, just a simple lob forward, almost making up for it with the response goal. but denied on the goal line. Dozy dunking over 2 different players, though, and unfortunately, Jose Marti grouping up again here in the corner, going to get punished.
Yeah, their defensive rotation just it seems to have 2 guys follow at all times, right? So you have 2. They're playing with 2 guys going in after the ball and having 1 guy stay back, which I guess could work if that other defender was in front of the net or at least playing like a middle of the field place. And instead, he's not. He's tucked into that other corner, and they're not able to get good defensive pressure on the ball. It leaves the net open well more than I think they'd like to have it open, and that PENNASAUKEN's just capitalizing on it again and again and again.
So as we enter the final 20 seconds, it's really just a matter of, can PENNASAUKEN keep their lead? At this point, I'd have to think that the answer to that is yes. They've played well here in this final game, being able to close out this series, and they will be stamping their way a ticket onto the grand final here within their region. It's a valiant effort from Jose Marti, but ultimately it's going to fall just a little bit short, and PENNASAUKEN going to be our first grand finalist.
Yep, and that was just a complete game, a complete set from them. They had that one game where they kind of took a step back after a nice adjustment from Jose Marti, who you got to give them credit where credit's due. They were able to readjust and revamp their play time and time again. But, you know, PENNASAUKEN was able to weather the storm, turn it back around, and really have a return to their first game form in this last game here, punching their ticket to the grand finals.
And it's a good showing from them, especially because I think I always have a favorable view on any team that comes out strong, struggles, and then immediately just comes back and adapts. It's a thing that shows a lot of emotional maturity to not get down on yourself, not get frustrated, and throw away a series that you previously had. It was able to drop a game, but then just take a deep breath, reconsolidate everything, and then adjust and put that plan into action. So very good job by PENNASAUKEN. I'm curious to see who they are going to be going up against here within this next stage of the bracket, but we're going to throw you guys to a brief break as we ready up our other matches. Please don't go anywhere. We'll be back with some more EGF High School Regional Championships.
But not as much as they could be. You like to see, at least, especially this late in the bracket, firepower coming from all 3 members of your team.
And certainly so, and we'll have 5 minutes at least to figure that out. And Wilson's going to start off with such a smooth dribble on, doing it all themselves.
Wow, just chips it off the wall to himself, picks up the ball, flicks it up and over the last defender in silly full. And 5 seconds into the game, Wilson has stamped this game and said, hey, we're here to play. Wow.
What a play right off the bat. Silly full going to try and answer back with a little bit of a hit and a good pass in the middle, but TBF getting a good clear down on the follow, getting a good dunk. DBK will decide against this one. Silly full will instead gather on the air dribble, the pre-flip. They're not going to be able to get that, so neither's DPK. And actually on the roller, almost get that one to go. A hard angle for Leachu, but they don't need power. They just need it on target, and it will be 1-1 in a very frantic opening 30 seconds.
Yeah, no, both teams coming out swinging here. Nobody's holding any punches. Not too much focus on defense, as you can see. This one, the first goal by Wilson was really a great shot where the defender really didn't have a chance. This time you saw the slow roller fool the defense, and that's, you know, sometimes all you need to score that first goal. So now we're tied 1-1, 4.5 left, and I can't speak for 30 seconds as Messick puts them ahead with a really nice shot where just a great read off the wall there to put it into the back of the net, putting them up by 1.
It seems like this is one of those games we're going to have to play everything by ear and keep things short and sweet, because these teams are not giving us a chance to really even catch our breath between these goals. Just slapping everything on target. 3 shots only for North Mesquite is 66% accuracy. So going down, we're seeing both teams not necessarily struggle on defense, but the offense is definitely starting off very quickly and resulting in a lot of quick chances back and forth. Part of that is, you mentioned the team play. They're not necessarily devoid of that, but a lot of solo efforts, a lot of just balls kind of being thrown downfield, and maybe just coincidentally you'll have someone crashing the net, which I guess you could chalk up as an assist and pass, but ultimately it feels like a lot of these chances being opened up just by individual effort. Lichu, for example, almost opening that one up.
No, yeah, you're definitely seeing guys trying to chip the ball down. So it looks like to themselves. Like when you saw Sean score the first game for Wilson, you saw him chip the ball off the wall for himself, carried it in. He trusted himself on that play, which is fine if you're a really good player, and it worked out for him, but you need to be able to set up passing plays for your team as well, and you haven't been seeing much of that really here, as the solo individual efforts after a dump out of your own zone has been the theme of the match so far.
And a little bit of dunk here from Silly Full, tries to get up Sean, cutting it out, and after and I think this is a fairly standard, I would definitely say game 1 type style, where you see a very quick, frantic, kind of all over the place game start, and then it slowly settles down, but we're not seeing a complete absence of goals. Wilson Central taking advantage, and it shows why you have to make sure that communication is on. Lichu leaving the ball, and Sean taking full advantage.
Yeah, and Silly Full tried his best to get up there and cover that top right corner, but he wasn't able to. The ball sneaks by him. He just didn't have the time, and the ball was just moving a little bit too fast for him. So Wilson Central tying this game at 2.
TPK not able to put that one on target. TBF lobbing that one up. It's a great beat over the top. Sean can't get it to go. TBF trying to turn in time, but won't be able to go. And great play overall from Wilson Central. They're generating a lot of awkward positions on defense from North Mesquite at times, putting them really on the back foot, but neither team necessarily out of it. We're only halfway into game number 1, and this game still can really go either way.
No, yeah, both teams having a really strong outing, right? Offense is definitely the theme of the day here today. Defense is key, but they're really not focusing too much on that, as they're just trying to get the ball pounded down into the other team's zone and then work from there. So looking to see probably one of these teams is going to end up having to ratchet down their defense a little bit more than the other. We're not sure as to who yet, but I think the next goal is really going to determine which team is going to ratchet down and start playing a little bit more defensively here.
So Full with an opportunity, but Sean lines himself up well for the block. Trying to extend that play, only going to get a demo. Ball ultimately will be cleared out. Silly Full rolling up the sidewall, or so I thought. TBF, it's a good stop. Messick tries to amend for it, but a little bit of miscommunication, starting a lot of overlapping movement. Fortunately, ball gonna have to go back out to midfield with Silly Full. Got Messick kind of lurking in the middle. Not gonna be found, so Lichu off of the side wall keeps things alive. Sean gonna need a clear. They get one temporarily. Messick trying to set up camp for North Mesquite in the half, but everyone rotates out. Not enough pressure. We go back into the white half, and Wilson try to set up an attack of their own. Sean, that's great contact, but a great save by Silly Full, equal to the task. Another ball across, but Lichu and Messick around to get the clear. So we're gonna keep playing. Just about 60 seconds remaining in game number 1. Still looking for that go-ahead.
Yeah, looking for the go-ahead goal, and you're seeing now North Mesquite kind of focusing a little bit more on defense. You saw right there a couple plays ago where they could have had an offensive push, but instead 2 of their players rotated back into the defensive, which wasn't something we had seen in the beginning of this game. So we're starting to see that shift as the game's getting later and later on. They're probably going to start protecting their zone a little bit more, as they don't want to be the one to give up that goal in game 1 to put the other team ahead.
The final 30 seconds. Which team going to break first, or rather, at this point, which team is going to bust out with the theatrics? The heroics in the end of the day might be Silly Full, but they're going to have to at least wait a little bit more. Unfortunately, not able to put that one on target. I don't think they truly understood just how open that net was. Maybe the amending for it right here, the lob. Zombie can't get that. Lichu doesn't miss this time with 10 seconds to go. Concerted pressure will yield a third.
Oh, yeah, and they were just hammering and peppering that net, and shots going ping, ping, off the post, off the backboard, and then finally Lichu reads the one that comes right out in front of the net. He had a nice open lane, took that shot, got some great contact on it. And now with 9 seconds left, they're holding on to that 1-goal lead. Wilson's going to probably try and do anything they can to try and scrape one more goal in through here.
And Lichu actually gives him a little bit of favor. Lobbed up DPK in the middle. Sean temporarily tapped that one up. I think they might have been looking for a pass, but we'll never really know. It ends the same. North Mesquite getting the victory. They will be moving ahead in the series after game number 1. But this is any indication for the rest of the series. This is going to be quite the back and forth affair.
Oh, definitely a tight game, tight series coming up here as both teams coming out strong. Then there was kind of that settle-in situation where they kind of sat 2-2 for a couple minutes, and then finally, with 10 seconds left, North Mesquite gets that one possession, those few shots that make it available, and they were able to capitalize. Take game 1, but you're definitely going to see that back and forth. Both of these teams kind of mirroring each other in terms of offensive prowess, and then their attempted recovery towards defense.
And it's something that we're really used to seeing in some of these games when you get those really close matches is where both teams really show what they've got. They've gotten really quick goals and they pound in some opportunities. And then both teams really take a deep breath and say, okay, these guys are for real. And then they settle into a bit more steady defense. And then it's more of a chess match. It's not just a straight up brawl. It's more about figuring out what you need to do to actually break down the defense now that they're actually adapting to you in the game. So curious to see what adjustments will come from Wilson Central. But I've been impressed from what I've been seeing. This is not a team that's going to roll over, clearly. North Mesquite had very strong showings yesterday. I haven't seen Wilson Central up until today, but I'm happy with what I've seen so far going into game number 2. Curious to see if they'll be able to keep up that pattern of performance.
Certainly no quit in Wilson Central's game, as you saw right down to the final few seconds. They were trying to set up that passing play, even with 0 seconds on the clock, weren't letting the ball hit the ground. They had that strong possession in the North Mesquite zone, were very willing and able to put that last goal in. Unfortunately, it didn't go their way, but certainly an evenly matched set, and I'm really looking forward to see what they bring out of the cards this game here.
I'm sure so is the audience here. So we will kick you guys into game number 2. Wilson Central looking to tie things up, and they might get a chance right off the kickoff. Will they need a setup? They will not. Sean not quite getting there in time. Silly Full will be able to clear things out and send it deep down the field. Again, a tap in the middle. Sean playing fast and loose with that clear, almost putting that one into their own net. Will be dealt with and sent out back to midfield. Sean off the sidewall. Lichu gets to it, not on target. Silly Full sends it back in, going for a doomsday dish, but they do not have the flip on deck. And that one will go to the side, but North Mesquite setting up a little bit of pressure in the Wilson corner. Finally, TBF will break out and be able to send it down to the corner for DPK to try to extend, but another ball deflected and going to roll all the way back across.
Yeah, and you're seeing Wilson starting to focus a little bit more on their defense than they did last game, I think towards the end, and that's what ended up resulting in the North Mesquite goal that won the game. They were playing a little bit fast and loose, and you even saw it in the beginning of this game where the ball did drop in front of their own net, but here with a great recovery, they send it out of their defensive zone. Sean carries the ball all the way down, nice off the backboard. DPK had a nice little tap in. Messick did everything he could to get to that ball, but unfortunately not enough, as Wilson Central takes the 1-0 lead about almost a minute into the game.
And a hallmark of a good team is trusting your teammates. I think Messick, almost in no man's land on that last one, their teammate was on the wall, ready to hit it, and they just didn't quite get the contact. Messick was just a little bit too far out of goal, not quite back enough to be able to defend that. And sometimes you pay off that, and it shows the error of just one miss. Obviously never good to not get contact on the ball, but sometimes that's all it takes to undo the defense. And North Mesquite will be paying that price first. The opening goal going to Wilson Central. Though in the first 90 seconds, we've certainly seen enough back and forth to understand that game number 1, maybe not a flash in the pan, definitely something we can look for. Lichu upfield slaps one in.
Wow, Messick with a great clearance out of their own zone, and Lichu showing his aerial prowess, able to read that ball, flip his car to correctly tap the ball, put it in the back of the net. Just a great play from the defense to the offensive transition. Now we're tied at 1, about 3.5 left here.
So going into now a tie ball game here in game number 2. Well, let's see if North Mesquite has the tenacity to keep at it on offense and continue to get some goals after they've gotten their first, answering back from Wilson's opener. A similar pattern to what we saw in game number 1. But Right now, they're going to really work these kind of tinier passes, a lot of variety in the passes they're looking for, both these deeper clears looking for redirects and these kind of slight taps just to keep the ball in interesting positions. Definitely keeping the defense a little bit unstable as Lichu almost just getting a long range one. Wilson was a little bit scattered to the wind. Get a deflection, but it will only go to the corner. Silly Foal trying to gather it up, but no pressure from Wilson. More than content to just let them hand the ball over. Sean open shot, a lot of power, not the accuracy. Messick on the follow, no touch. TBF off the backboard. DPK's up for it. They don't make contact. Sean with a lob. DPK's lurking upfield, and they can't quite put that on target. But Wilson getting a little bit more creative with it. That is until Sean just rolls it right into Lichu, and that'll be another clear downfield.
And it was an interesting defensive formation there by North Mesquite. I guess I'll capitalize and talk about that in a little bit here, because right now I got to talk about that great play from Lichu, who was able to carry it all the way down. A nice little soft ball the defense wasn't expecting, so it was able to come off the backboard right back to him, and he chips it in himself. So a great solo effort from Lichu, something that we saw in the first game, putting North Mesquite up by 1.
So we mentioned that changeup aspect. Lichu almost kind of banking on that as they got that near post read, but it was kind of a backflip just to tap it forward, but take some power off of it, and that was really enough to really bamboozle 2 of the Wilson Central players. And right now, it just seems like they're just not making the contact. Lichu will more than happily take a hat trick here. 3 shots off of, or 3 goals rather, off of 5 shots, and quite the performance emerging from the North Mesquite striker.
And that was great by Lichu there. Just a really nice read off the attempted clear. Unfortunately for DPK, he did not get the power or even the touch on that he wanted to. You saw him go up for it, flipped on it. He didn't make the contact, so it dropped right for Lichu, who was able to capitalize, securing the hat trick, and he's really having himself a game so far today.
But still, you got about 92 seconds on the clock for Wilson to come back here. Only 2-goal lead. Maybe make that 3, but Silly Full at least will be denied for now. Messick on the follow will just lob it across. Sean, temporary clear. DPK trying to rush out and save it. Unfortunately, not have the speed. Silly Full, tough angle. They don't need a lot of power. It just needs to find the distance on the hit, and it will. Silly Full with probably the slowest goal that we're going to see today.
Well, unfortunately for the Wilson Central defense, 2 of them got caught up. They actually collided in the air. I'm assuming they both ran out of boost because they kind of floated down to the field. And all Silly Full needed to do there to capitalize was get a touch on the ball, which he did, securing the tough angle goal, and that puts them up by 3 with 1:10 left in the game.
Well, we mentioned it was going to be a close game, but slowly it seems like North Mesquite has found their flow on offense. Wilson Central doesn't quite have the answer yet, but that's why series are won at times, 1 game at a time. Wilson Central still just trying to figure out what to do with this burst of offense coming through from, I would say mainly Lichu, but it's an element of generating pressure from a team. Lichu just happens to be the final player to really put the cap on that attack, but the final 40 seconds showing that Wilson Central not completely out of it. They're getting a nice shot, a good save coming through. However, certainly they're looking for something to take on the road, give them a little morale going into game number 3, since that ultimately will be the match point for them. North Mesquite is able to get that close win in game number 1, but this one a bit more one-sided, and I can't necessarily say undeservedly.
No, North Mesquite really played a top-tier game right here. And you mentioned that Lichu seemed to be running the offense, and I think that's just the way that their rotation is set up, where they go into the offensive zone, and it seems to be Lichu is always first man in, right? And then he's just the recipient of whatever plays seem to be happening. But I'm liking the team play and the offensive rotation that North Mesquite has implemented into the second game here. As in the first game, it looked a little bit more like a lot of individuals playing with the ball. They were able to come out with the win in the end of it. But this game, it seemed there was a lot more focus on the team aspect of it. There was more passing plays. There was more successful clears out of the defensive zone. It seemed like the communications were a lot more on point for North Mesquite this game.
Yeah, and the thing that I'm more focused on with this next match from Wilson Central is not necessarily the offense. I wasn't necessarily unimpressed with their offense this game. It's more so want to see them focus a bit more on defensive structure. I think we saw them trying to find the apt adjective here or verb because it's not collapsing necessarily. They're not playing horrifically. It's just they're not quite on the balls that they should be. They're a little bit too spaced out, and some of the reads a bit off. But I think they're fairly simple adjustments. Feel free to correct me if you feel otherwise. But I think Wilson Central just got dealt a fairly bad hand. It started to snowball, and I think this is the chance for them to adapt here going into game number 3, because at this point their backs against the wall. They don't have any more lives. They need to be able to come back in the series here.
Certainly, it's just a simple adjustment in the defensive zone. Like, have one guy rotate to a little bit of a different area, because that one of the goals I noticed, like I had said, that they had collided on the wall and then effectively took both of them out of the play. So it's things like that where you're making those little mistakes that end up, in a big time error. Like, you're both going one direction on accident, and then there's the collision that causes the goal to go in. So it's really just fixing those little things. I don't see that their defense is breaking down in like a massive way, but certainly I noticed that it's broken down just enough. And North Mesquite clearly feeling themselves here as they have switched to the Scarab Gang. Interesting play there on their end.
Well, as we mentioned, I mean, we don't know as much about these high school teams as our collegiate scene, as the teams have not played in a season-long escapade to really get them known. But if I have detected any pattern in this squad, is that the moment they move on to match point, the Scarabs do come out. And as we saw with them getting their sweep in the other series yesterday, they're just as dangerous, really, in any car, meme or not. But I'm sure North Wilson not going to be appreciating the statement here, looking to maybe take out that aggression on some offense, though will be turned away temporarily. Sean can't get in this one. DPK actually going away there. They didn't get the touch that they're looking for either. Another ball over to the side, silly full. Ramping it up the side wall. TBF will send it back out to midfield. Lichu being set up for themselves. Can't get the air dribble to go. They're going to pinch a great pass in the middle from Messick, and they're not going to miss that one.
Wow, he didn't get the air touch he wanted, but that was great recovery by Lichu. He tried for the touch, didn't get it, pinched it off the ground perfectly to Messick. That was just a great passing play, and great space of mind there by Lichu to recover from the mistake where he missed that touch and was instead able to get it over to his teammate in the middle of the field. And that just shows, that's a pattern you'll see in great players, where when you're able to capitalize off of a mistake that you made and turn it into a great scoring chance.
And it really speaks to the level of improvisation and really field vision from the squad, because it's one thing to have a play set up, but then the moment it goes awry, how do you just quickly get into a new position and make sure that you can actually make something of it? So credit to Messick for not only being lurking in the middle to be able to get any ball off the backboard or being able to read off of the initial plan, but instead just be able to plant their wheels, get themselves in a good position for the pass. And I mean, there's still so much to do, but great job by North Mesquite, and speaks volume about the squad. They're already getting that lead to be able to move on in the game, and Wilson again gonna have to be playing from behind.
Yeah, it seems like a theme here where Wilson gets, if there's that early pressure, they seem to get shell-shocked and kind of locked down. So you're really looking to see them turn around differently from that offense. You've seen them, they can score. We've seen them score. None of these games, save for game 2, have really been blowouts. So we're looking to see them just kind of calm themselves down, regroup, recover, reform their formation here, and maybe make a little quick in-game adjustment. But they're certainly not out of this game. Plenty of time on the clock here, and we know they can score on North Mesquite.
Sean sent a great pass down, but TBF a little bit too tough of a read for them. Gonna have to leave it up for Lichu. Gonna musty a little clear downfield. Sean taking over. Silly full, a little bit alone. Messick is trying to support on the back post. They will get back just in time. Getting a nice 50 into the corner. Lichu falling down. TBF actually generates a good bounce. DPK, the bounce shot, getting a little, I think, ground pinch on that shot. TBF on the foul, gonna glance one across goal. DPK hesitating to turn around, but takes a 50 instead. Final 2 minutes, still a 1-goal game. North Mesquite far from having this one wrapped up, but certainly getting some good offensive pressure still. Sean gonna have to tap this one to the corner. Messick on the foul gets a nice little 50. And so far, the Scarab Gang of North Mesquite holding on to their lead, but still gotta endure, really weather this 2-minute drill.
Yeah, no, there's still plenty of time on the clock, like I mentioned, and Wilson, we know, can score on them. So certainly not a time for North Mesquite to sit back and kind of let the game happen. They still need to be pushing play. They still need to be turning defense into offense. Certainly can't just be content with what's going on right now. They've just got to keep going, keep pushing, and certainly not let their foot off the gas, and it doesn't look like they're going to here.
Especially with a demo opening things up. Messick going for a fake instead. The hubris results in a miss, in fact. And now on the counter, Sean, are they getting the punish? The air dribble, they go for the bump, but Silly Full, a little bit too elusive. Gonna get away with that one. Sean can't get the tap in the middle. 60 seconds remaining. Failed Cuxer pinch from Lichu will yield to just a little bit of a roll out from Silly Full, but what an opportunity from North Mesquite to make it 2-0. They don't get that one to go. Messick can amend for it that time. Sean beats him over the top, and we're talking about punishments, and we're still not going to see one off of the post and out. Wilson Central, what do they have to do to get one on the board?
They cannot buy a goal here. Every chance they get, that long shot, it looked like it was going in, and it just curved last minute, and again, they put one off the post. They're doing everything they can to get themselves back into this game, but they have done something to anger the Rocket League gods here today because they cannot get one to go.
Super unfortunate for them, but Silly Full gift wrapping potentially one, as Messick is going to have to really get back. The ball lobbed into a very awkward position. Lichu trying to burn time, gets a flip reset, gets maybe a second flip reset, I thought, but not going to use it. 5 seconds remaining, ball still in the air. Messick, not the cleanest touch. TBF, it's a good shot, but Silly Full closes that down. Lichu spikes it, and almost keeping it up is North Wilson, but unfortunately, North Mesquite will be taking this game, and Scarab Gang yet again getting the job done, albeit by a slim margin, but they're going to be moving on to the grand finals with a very convincing 3-0 series scoreline.
You know, and they did have a great game, but I'd like to see them not get caught making big-headed decisions. You saw them going for like the advanced plays where like they were clearly confident in themselves, right? We saw that, and that resulted in them going for dribble plays when they had an easy shot on net, or you know, and Wilson did have opportunities to punish them, but they weren't able to for one reason or another. So going into the grand finals, I'd like to see North Mesquite play a little bit less cocky when if they do end up with a lead, because that can burn them, and especially once you're getting into the finals, you don't want to be making those poor decisions that can end up in punishing results.
Yeah, there's a quote that I can't remember the source of, but it's something I incorporate within a lot of coaching, and my friends who are also coaching within Rocket League. There's a very fine line between confidence and stupidity, and I think North Mesquite are very good at playing confident. And I think an element of that they're not necessarily playing poorly or unintelligently, but there are those elements of those times where they do play it a little fast and loose. And it's something that when you're seeing them go for flip resets out of goal, or they're going for the musty clears, or they're overcomplicating things on offense, trying to go for something that's more of a clip rather than just a simple finish off, it's only a 1-goal game. Like, it's one thing to do that when you have the game wrapped up. It's like 20 seconds left. You have a 3-goal lead, but they're very much playing with fire at times. So something to look out for as they go into the grand final, but they do get there and they're looking impressive. So best of luck to them. And to actually cover one of the grand finals, we're actually going to ready that one up. So we're going to throw you guys to a brief break. We'll be back with one of the grand finals for the EGF High School Regional Championships. Welcome back, everybody, to the grand final here for our EGF High School Regional Championships. We have Summit High School and North Mesquite High School. I'm still Dander Taco. Joined with me is McFallen, and we do have this final match here within one of our two regions here. We have the bracket kind of all set out here, looking.
It's important to note it is a best of 7 at this point. Both of these teams, we've covered both of them. They both look really strong tactically and with their rotation style. So looking to see a really close matchup here as North Mesquite takes on Summit. We are underway.
And one thing we talked about off stream is, or really backstage here between games, is North Mesquite on stream. We've seen them twice now get to match point and bust out Scarabs, playing with a lot of confidence. And you can see why. Lichu getting a nice little air dribble over the top to open the scoring.
Yeah, Ruggy tries to clear it out, but unfortunate bounce for him off the corner wall. Pops right up. Lichu very good in the air, as we've seen even last game, and now he capitalizes on that pop-up, and we have a 1-0 lead for North Mesquite.
A little bit of a deflection, Dark. Just throwing that one downfield. Silly Full will catch and flick, but Ruggy temporarily holding things up. Lichu send it right back down. A little bit of midfield play opening up for Messick to lob one down. Dark a little bit too quick to it. Good hit downfield. Ruggy will be able to gather things with 100 boost. Delayed flick. We'll just go for 50 instead. Sets up Trizon. They get bumped out of the way though, but Messick does not have the boost, and that's a floater is gonna be the equalizer.
Oh, unfortunate there. Messick does go up for it, but just drains the tank, doesn't have the boost, doesn't get the angle, and the floater just floats in. Trizon ties this game up at 1, 4:11 left in the game. Plenty of time. We've got a good game ahead of us.
That's a brutal way to give up the goal, but I think they all count the same. So last I checked, Summit was going to take that all day long, and they will be capping off this first minute with their goal. Lichu and company, though, not content for just one. They're going to try to set up something interesting. Silly Full will get a good read off the backboard, although not on target. Dark on the far side, setting up a nice little lob. Beats out Silly Full. Trizon just a little bit too far away, and Lichu able to pay Savior. And maybe might be able to do even more with that. Good flick to the back post, but a save from Dark will keep the goal line clear. Trizon and Ruggy waiting for the next approach, which will just be a light little flick from Silly Full and back out into midfield. The ball will go. Both teams starting to parry away opportunities.
Yeah, no, looking just after the first 2 goals, it's starting to be a little bit of a back and forth ping pong type game. Ball's hovering around midfield. Both teams kind of settled in here. We're in it for the long haul here. This is the grand finals. Remember, neither of these teams want to give an inch, and we're seeing that reflected in their play now.
You're seeing Dark more than willing to slow the play down. It's a couple times now that they've taken their time. Another high lob. This time Messick is equal to the task. Be able to save it down, but low on boost. Able to temporarily get a touch here. Trizon, I believe it might have stolen that corner boost, so Messick's still searching. Don't really want to go to the corner yet. Their last back, though, they will be able to get just enough of a touch. Trizon, another ball into the middle. Dark leaps at it, though it didn't quite have the angle, but no harm in, I guess, applying pressure in their mind. We're crossing halftime, still at 1-1 scoreline, but do get this sort of feeling that we're kind of putting a lid on a pressure cooker and we're kind of just waiting for that go-ahead goal.
Yeah, no, both these teams now putting on some good pressure, and really want to compliment North Mesquite on their defensive rotation there. A couple possessions ago, you saw them. There was a shot on net. It was missed and by Messick, I believe, and then Silly Full was able to wrap around and get that touch to clear the zone. So really effective defensive play there from North Mesquite early on, and both teams also getting really good offensive chances. So just waiting for that one to crack open the score here and get a leader in here.
And certainly minimal hesitation from both these squads, getting on a lot of these shots very quickly, or at least getting on a lot of opportunities without hesitation. And it's paying dividends, at least in terms of offensive productivity and keeping the ball moving, though. Right now, they're not necessarily converting all their chances. Trizon actually has to leave that one for Ruggy. They just didn't have the angle. Messick doesn't have the angle on that read. Lichu doesn't have that touch either. A couple players opening up an opportunity for Trizon, and they're going to put that one in. The defense just collapsing at midfield, and some are going to march that one straight back down.
Well, Lichu didn't get the touch he wanted there, and he wasn't able to recover all the way. He wasn't able to get his wheels on the wall quick enough for him to get traction and get back. So he got caught there. One of the other defenders was caught up in the O-zone, and then the last man back tried his best. He did get across the goal, but wasn't able to make contact with the ball, and now you see Summit up 2-1 here.
Ruggy actually, I think, playing a different read. Didn't quite get the contact they're looking for. Lichu demos a player, but ultimately ball just going to be held up in place. Ruggy, I think, accidentally uses Silly Full to get that clear out, but Trizon not able to really take advantage of it. Another transition coming down. Demo coming out. Messick still set up for a shot. They do not make contact. Silly Full going to hit that off the sidewall. Another longer clear. Ultimately, Summit does not need any more goals. They're more content to just wait for the ball. As you see Trizon and Ruggy both sitting at midfield waiting for really the North Mesquite team to come to them, and they will oblige with the air dribble. So another ball turned away. Dark lurking in the middle. Trizon doesn't find him, but they're doing a good job to keep the pressure going, and Summit High School just needs to hold out for the next 30 seconds, and they'll be taking that series lead.
Yeah, all they got to do is hold on here. It doesn't look like they're really pushing the offensive zone very much, as you saw Ruggy get the demolition there and then just kind of curl back. You're seeing a little bit of pressure from Dark, but overall you're seeing them just clear their own zone and then make sure it stays in the North Mesquite end. So they're just trying to lock down and hold on to this lead and carry it into game 2.
Long clear from Ruggie, not going to find the target, but it made Mezek think twice. A little bit of a demo. Actually, both players exchanging a demo. Going to open up Mezek, the deeper shot. Dark, not the cleanest touch. Lichu on the follow. It's going to generate a double commits. 0 seconds. Silly Full keeping it alive. Going to go into the North Mesquite half. They're going to need a full court carry. Silly Full will try and keep it into the corner, but that ultimately is not going to be found. And Summit High School taking game number 1 here in our grand final.
And like I said, this was going to be a close matchup, and it looks to be answering that call. Both of these teams come out flying. Both of these teams have good defensive production as well as offensive production. Both of them really playing to the top of their abilities here. And Summit was able to just kind of capitalize on the one little defensive mistake that North Mesquite made. But overall, great game from both of these teams, and we're really in for a good series here.
Yeah, and I think classic elements of grand finals, getting a very close game, and it's coming down to that sweet fusion of limiting mistakes and also capitalizing on opportunities. And I think the brutal part is that Summit's go-ahead goal, the eventual winner, was off of North Mesquite just not handling a ball very well. They really impulsively went on a ball in midfield, a ball you could argue they don't actually need to commit to, and unfortunately they're going to pay the price for it, but certainly something that they can look to get revenge on. It's a long series ahead, so game 1 is in the books. Summit in the lead now in this best of 7, but Northgate far from out of it. We've seen them handle those difficulties before, and see really what they have in store for us here in game number 2, at least for right now. Seeming to be backboard plays. They keep going back to that, and this time they are going to find the target on the pass, but unfortunately Lichu out and to the corner, and Summit High School going to survive again and going to be able to lob a chance of their own.
Yeah, no, and that was a great opening play by North Mesquite to just bring the play down the field immediately. Don't give Summit any time to breathe. Just start play immediately. I know sometimes in these games you'll see like the first minute and a half of the game is more or less kind of a back and forth style. North Mesquite content to start the play off immediately, and now since then they've kind of held the ball in the Summit zone, so it'll be interesting to see how this plays out. And just as I say that, Mezek capitalizes there, and North Mesquite is up 1-0 early.
I think that Summit boost economy got a little sparse. Ruggie actually went to the corner to get that boost, and I believe a North Mesquite player actually stole it moments before. Just not enough to get on top of it, but that's what happens when you keep up a solid attack, starve out that boost. Eventually, something will open up, and Mezek will say thank you very much and grab their team's first goal. So good start here going into game number 2. At least they have the kind of head start within this game, trying to get back into the series. At this point, it's really just a matter of something we've seen in previous series, rather they can actually keep this lead, or more importantly, build off of it. Certainly North Mesquite, a team that has that pop-off potential.
Absolutely. We've seen it before where they get that early lead and then they start playing with confidence. And I think that's the biggest thing for this North Mesquite team, is once they get that confidence going, they turn into a completely different team. Like, you'll see them biff a few chances early, but as soon as they get that one goal, especially if it's early, they've got the rest of the game to play. They get up, they get happy, they get confident. You see them play a really strong game. So I think confidence plays a huge factor for this North Mesquite team.
Yeah, it's a bit of a team that kind of feeds off that emotional energy and is able to really make chances snowball, get some nice barrage of chances. And I think you see that. I mean, it's a playful team with, as we mentioned, the Scarabs coming out on match point in every series they played. And I mean, at least for right now, we're looking pretty adept picking up these patterns, because Silly Full, they're just gonna zip and zoom around the field and set up their own opportunity.
And what a great individual effort that was by Silly Full, taking it from one side, carrying it across the field, the self chip off the wall immediately into the back of the net. Just a great solo effort there by Silly Full. Puts North Mesquite up by 2 here, about halfway through the game.
Yeah, and sometimes I think opportunities like that get characterized as kind of those monkey plays where it feels like you're just chasing the ball, hitting the ball. But all of those touches, very smart. Taps it to the sideline, keeps it in play, taps it light off the corner so they can follow it themselves, and then they put it on target for the goal. Just well-worked play and at pace. So good job by Silly Full, and North Mesquite going to enjoy a nice 2-goal lead because of it right as we hit halftime.
Yep, really, you called it perfectly right there. That was just all smart touches by Silly Full. None of them were really a touch that I think was like a throwaway touch. Everything he did was with purpose there, and that was just a really smart play that resulted in the goal. And here they come right back down again, but a great clearance there by Summit to get it back down to the other end.
Luchu actually getting a little careless with that one, and Silly Full maybe trusted their teammate a bit too much, too wide on the turn and goal, and back to a 1-goal game.
Yeah, Lichu tried to get that touch. I think he was looking for a different angle there. He hit the wrong part of the corner, because if he hit the other part of the corner, which I think he was aiming for, the ball would have either gone up the wall or at least towards the other end. Instead, it popped right out to the center for a nice read for Summit to bring this game within 1 goal.
They're marching right back down. Ruggy's going to send that one straight down. Silly Full doesn't have it. Messick to the rescue. Ruggy taps that one forward. Dark turns on it. Tries in to the backboard. Messick, that's not the cleanest touch. Silly Full gets bumped. Ruggy on the open shot. And just like that, Summit High School right back in it.
Oh my goodness, just a great offensive awareness right there. Silly Full getting bumped down by Trizen, effectively eliminating him from the play. So the defenders, though they were in the right positions, great place of mind in the offensive standpoint to eliminate those defenders who were in good position to result in a tie game now with 1:40 left.
There's no stat for that, but what a play by Trizen to be able to put that one on the backboard first of all, but then immediately land and bump the player, the only player that can really clear that. Just top-notch awareness, and a great job to use that physical play mixing with the kind of brutalist kind of long-term passing play. But a great way to get back into this. And we mentioned North Mesquite, they're a streaky team. They're looking to capitalize on that confidence. Right now, it seems like Summit is the one playing fast, playing with a lot of flair, and they're getting the job done. They just have to make sure that they continue that job. Can't let off the gas. 2-2, and heading into the final minute, North Mesquite inching closer, as we just saw in that last attack, but going to have to wait for another opportunity. A little bit of a giveaway, actually. Dark set up the air dribble. Beautiful little lift. Trizen has a chance to get a goal of their own, but unfortunately, going to get turned away. Ruggy to the back post. Messick, another save. So North Mesquite dealing with a confident and resurgent Summit High School this time. It's another miss going to come down, and a longer clear from Ruggy will clear their lines yet again.
Yeah, no, and I think you're seeing a bit of a momentum shift where Summit has scored those 2 goals rather quickly, and now they're starting to pick up on that, and they're just riding the highs right now of that momentum. And that's in a game as mental as Rocket League. Once you get into that good space of mind, you're riding that momentum wave. Everything seems to be clicking for you. You're just going to keep riding on that. And they're getting chance after chance after chance, really just turning up the pressure here late in the game.
I mean, that'll be kind of a brave chance there. They kind of committed on that one, even though both they need to be aware of the counter. But right now, Summit High School, they're just pouring players forward, and they might actually get maybe one more before 0 seconds. Leachu's going to try and guard this one down. We'll be going to the midline. Silly Full actually tried to play some last-minute heroics the catch, but we will be having to go to overtime here in game number 2. North Mesquite losing a 2-goal lead, just trying to make sure that they can at least get one on the board for the series.
Yeah, just one to win now at this point, and it's anybody's game. Both teams capitalizing and both teams playing fairly strongly. You saw Summit steal the momentum at the end of the game, and we'll see if they're able to continue that momentum, keep that pressure on, or if North Mesquite will be able to get back into that confident headspace and be able to push the pace of play here.
So they fall with the long clear. That's actually past everybody. I think it might have been over. Trizen, they're going to take no chances. Going to put that one to the side. Ruggy down into the midfield. Messick up the line. Tries to get a little bit of a hit. Dark is going to hold this one up temporarily. Lichu and Silly Full both around it. The deflection from Dark going to yield an awkward angle. Silly Full all the way across. Trizen is there. Good dunk down. Lichu can't deal with this one. Trizen can't put in the doomsy. Tough angle, so real no blame on this one. Ruggy keeps the play going. And what a collapse here. The comeback, 3 unanswered. And Summit getting their 2nd win of the series.
And what a great way to do it. Ruggy with the self-chip through all 3 North Mesquite defensemen, which is an unfortunate placement for them. You saw all 3 of them get caught in that corner. Nobody was really in the front awaiting that shot. So all Ruggy had to do was exactly what he did. Chipped it off the wall, made sure none of those defenders got a touch on it, and then he was able to tap it in himself. Securing the win. Summit now up by 2 games. North Mesquite really going to look to turn this thing around as they're starting to get pushed into the danger zone here.
Yeah, and just as a reminder to our viewers, this is a best of 7 being the grand final, so this is not match point quite yet. North Mesquite has a little bit of breathing room, but I'm sure they're trying to loosen their collars a little bit because it has to be getting a bit stuffy in those team comms right now. That was a fairly brutal loss off of mistakes in game number 1, and then game number 2, it seemed like everything came together, and then just slowly Summit just really tightened the belt a little bit and got able to go up on offense. It's a great comeback from them, and what a blow to the morale, having that 2-goal lead just slowly slip through your fingers. Moving into game 3, team environment must be very interesting on the North Mesquite side.
Yeah, especially as we mentioned, it's a team that seems to rely on confidence so much. It's going to really be interesting to see how they respond to 2 losses in a row. You see them really like to be pushing the pace of play rather than, playing to what the other team gives you. This is not, I don't think, the game they're used to. So it'll be interesting to see how they push back here in game 3.
Dark going for a power clear, and that's just double commit. Ruggy open shot. I don't think they even expected that to be as open as it was. Tries in on the follow-up, will get saved by Silly Full. Lichu lobs one down, opts to just go for some boost. Spread rotations out from North Mesquite as they're trying to fuel up for an attack. Lichu trying to get one started. Full will build deflection in the middle. Ruggy extends the play for Summit. They'll get another shot off the backboard. No one there for it. Dark lurking for the follow-up, and they will bury one top shelf.
So Summit really just taking that momentum that they gained from last game, that overtime goal, and they left nothing behind. They took it right with them, still carrying that momentum, running the ball down the field, passing it beautifully, and then to tap in. We got a 1-0 lead early here in this game.
Great kickoff to boot. Dark has a chance to get another one, but contact not quite there. So consistency, a little bit of an issue on that shot. Could have been very nearly a 2-0. I'm sure North Mesquite breathing a sigh of relief watching that one float to the side, but certainly a lot to be concerned about. Summit High School right now, popping off on offense, giving a lot right now. And I think this is a point where I think some teams reach in a series where your play style has worked very well to get you to this grand final. But right now, it seems like Summit High School has the answers for everything North Mesquite is doing. I haven't seen much from North Mesquite that I'm necessarily too worried about. Even when they got their 2 goals after that, it was very one-sided. I think they need to get a bit more creative, shift up the formula, as it were.
Yeah, no, North Mesquite seems to be pretty much unwilling to change their tactics. It's worked for them so long here, and it's the tough pill to swallow when you need to change what you're doing, but it's time to make some form of adjustment here. It's clear that their play style isn't working for them, and I believe it's time for them to make an in-game shift here to get themselves back into this series.
Maybe a mistake like that could be very generous. What a save by
Oh
Ruggy!
my gosh! Oh my gosh!
As well. What is happening? North Mesquite, wide open chance, and it just goes off the bar, and a crazy leaping save will keep us 1-0. Silly Full trying to amend for things. Lichu going to be able to get that one. So fantastic defense from Summit eventually gives way, and North Mesquite has their equalizer.
I think they would have right there. Dark tried to get that ball up and out of the danger zone. He was unable to after just an onslaught of offensive pressure from North Mesquite there. Now they've leveled this game at 1. We'll be willing to. I can't wait to see whether they play with that momentum or if it just kind of goes by the wayside here.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds theatrical, but if that goal got saved and they never were able to get the counter off of that built-up pressure, I almost want to just call that game, because that's a tilter and a half, especially if you continue playing defense like that. A little bit of close opportunities, but both teams at times struggling to get the ball off the side. Shows that they're dealing with some angles that are very difficult to clear out, and the slow play from the lack of boost getting to them. Summit marching right back down. They seem unfazed. They're right back in the lead.
And Ruggy catching that ball on the top of his car, and then had the great ground play to keep it up there, and then a flick that just floats over every single North Mesquite defender and ends up in the back of the net. Just a great counter punch to that goal by North Mesquite. Looks like that didn't take any wind out of their sails. They're right back on top here.
Ruggy with a great clear to buy a lot of time. Silly Full, they don't get to it. Tries and does. Yields a 50 and does it all themselves. 3-1 to Summit now with 2 minutes to go.
You're just seeing, I think North Mesquite's getting into their own heads here a little bit. They're starting to make a little bit of tactical mistakes. They're missing on balls they should be hitting. Their defense is starting to break down. There's a lot of time left in this game, but they really need to patch things up right now if they're going to turn it around, because it looks like they're getting into their own heads and not in a good way.
Yeah, and Summit is just, at this point, it's just, they're rolling with it. That one off the kickoff, Lichu taking a little bit too much time. Dark has no such hesitations, and Messick I just think flat-footed, very limited boost, no momentum on the play, and unfortunately not able to adjust for that one. 3 shots across the board for every player of Summit. They're shooting 33%, but my goodness, the pressure here. And this series going from very close one-game affair, starting to really break out. Summit High School, they're starting to run away with it, and North Mesquite struggling to keep up the pace.
Yeah, no, the game is certainly kind of speeding by North Mesquite here, and which is weird and odd for us as we've called them before, and they usually push the play, right? They're the ones that are speeding the game up, and now here they are looking to slow the game down. It's just such a stark contrast to what they've been used to here, but that's the highlight of a good team, is being able to adapt and say, okay, this is clearly a stronger team than we faced before. We need to adjust our play style. And again, as I said earlier, they're just not willing to change their play style, and because of that, they're just getting shelled right now.
And one thing that I really have to applaud for Summit, it's something that we haven't necessarily seen in this high school regionals so far, or at least a team not doing it as well, is one element of very high level play is doing everything that you need to, but doing it as quickly as possible without hesitation. Summit High School is playing at 100 miles an hour the entire time, and very rarely are they actually missing the touch. They're getting the 50s they need, they're getting the aerial touches they need, and they're getting the saves they need. It's just right now, North Mesquite is a team that likes to vary up the pace, but right now it seems like there's only one pace for Summit. It's just full speed ahead, and right now that's exactly what they're doing with all their goal scoring opportunities. Demoing now entering the fray with a 5th goal to go in here to put Summit certainly at this point onto match point.
Dark is looking all over the field right now. He demoed just about everyone he could to just clear the lane and have an easy touch there to put them up 5-1 now, certainly pushing them towards that match point. I don't see 4 goals coming in 20 seconds here for North Mesquite, but maybe they can get one and try and, like, it's kind of like a morale goal. Okay, we got one. Now let's move into this next game with some momentum. We'll see if they can do that late here.
And at least for the first try will not be the case. One follow-up, though. Messick going for a double tap. Tries and is there, and they will be able to make a save. So even the morale not getting a little bit of a boost here. Neither will the scoreline. 5-1 there for Summit. And for a grand final here, we are on match point after only 3 matches played. Summit has slowly broken away. We've seen a broadening of scorelines, and Summit High School, I mean, I remember seeing them a bit earlier yesterday. They looked good, but this is a next level. They are peaking at the absolute optimal time here.
Oh, yeah, and every teammate producing here. You look across the scoreline, each member of Summit had 4 shots on net, 2 of them scoring on 50% of them, one of them only scoring once, but that was Ruggie, who was really driving the play. And when he didn't score, he was assisting. So that was a complete team effort there from Summit, which is huge, huge. And they're all peaking at the right time. Just like you said, North Mesquite backs to the walls now. They're really going to look to turn this thing around and move into the next game.
I'm curious to see really what's in store for us, because North Mesquite, they have the minute to settle down and think about things. And of course, you said this is a team that flows off confidence. It is very difficult in the face of what they're dealing with to remain confident in situations like this, dropping 3 straight games, and especially now on the verge of being eliminated here, finishing 2nd here within their regional championship. They are on match point, and they have to really just really look into the void of a 5-1 victory and say, we can do better. And I have to think they do believe that, but I can't necessarily blame them if they feel a little bit doubting. But they got 5 minutes, a wiped scoreline to be able to prove us wrong. A reverse sweep and a best-of-7 required to be able to take home a championship for North Mesquite. We'll have to see what they have up their sleeves in order to prepare for that, at least so far. Getting good challenges here in the midfield to open things up, and Silly Full will be able to extend the play at least a little bit more, taking it into the corner, and Lichu will push it right back into the gold half.
Yep, no, and I like the response from North Mesquite in this game, right? So they took a pretty good thumping last game, and they've started this game out right into the Summit zone. And opening up the scoring is Lichu on just a floater of a ball from Messick. A nice placed shot there, tapped by the defender, and Lichu was just able to tap it in, no defenders back.
I do like that play from Messick, actually going for a lob to the follow for the shot. But more importantly, they don't get the shot off, but they get a great 50. And all it does is just hold the ball up. It produces a pseudo double commit from Summit and opens up a nice passing play. So good confidence booster there. They have the lead But we've seen that story before. We'll have to see if they can keep it, which is a huge question mark at times, because I think North Mesquite's offense has produced a decent number of shots. It's just at the certain point, the defense can't necessarily keep up with some of the plays Summit has been producing, kind of leaving some gaps open for shots like that. Dark on the follow, though, will be beaten to it by Lichu. They themselves will get a nice 100 boost. Lobs onto the backboard. Ruggy covering that one, and Silly Full going to have to gather and try to produce a little bit of air dribble, but Ruggy again just a bit too quick, getting not only a dunk, but then the follow-up dunk in midfield to push it down to the Mesquite corner.
Yeah, no, and I think to kind of push on your point earlier, something else is when North Mesquite does get that offensive pressure and they do get into the offensive zone. Earlier, you had mentioned that Summit is making all of their touches that they want to be making right now, and I think that's really stifling the offense of North Mesquite when they're trying to put shots on net, and they are putting quality shots on net. Summit is still getting that touch that they need to clear the ball, make the save. They're really just firing on all cylinders right now.
A little bit ball down. Ruggy will send that one very deep. Silly Full doesn't deal with it on the backboard, though the follow-up is very good. Lichu actually has a little bit of a space here, cuts really well. They have Silly Full lurking on the back post. Ruggy saw the threat, though, closed it down. No hesitation on that challenge, and that's exactly what they needed. Silly Full, though, on the follow. They don't need a touch. The tactical whiff, and Messick will tap that one in for the security.
You know what? And that's the highlight of a good team, though. When you make that mistake, you don't get the touch that you wanted. I think that would have gone in anyways, but a security goal. We're in the grand finals, and they're down facing a sweep here. So I think anyway, I'm not going to chalk that up as a goal steal. I'm going to chalk that up as insurance marker. They're trying to just make sure every shot that they take can go in.
Yeah, McFallen, to be honest, I'm not sure about any goal going in after the series of saves Summit was able to pull out last match. So there's certainly a lot on the table at this point. So goal steals or not, you're trying to score for your team, not for the stat line. So something that I'm sure North Mesquite hyper aware of at this point. Another game in which they have emerged with a 2-goal lead. Let's see if they can change the script this time when they need it most. Messick trying to add to it with another shot, though a little bit too low. Won't be troubling anyone. Lichu trying to extend the play, won't be able to. Tries in, will just send that one down again. Messick, they're going back to that. And as I mentioned, that North Mesquite more than content to slow the play down. This way, I think they're choosing their battles a bit cleaner on this one. They're slowing the ball down in situations that aren't nearly as dangerous. It's more about just maintaining possession. I do like the adjustment we've seen from North Mesquite so far. Only one shot coming through from Summit after 3 minutes of play. So North Mesquite, at least temporarily, not to introduce some dangerous karma into the mix, but seems like they have, at least for the most part, been able to figure out some form of response.
And it's kind of like a finally moment for them, right? Because they've been holding on to that same play style that have gotten them this far, and there was really no adjustment made. Even when Summit started cracking down on them and putting all those shots on net, scoring all those goals, and finally you see North Mesquite make the shift that they need. Again, we don't know if it'll stick, but as of right now, it's a good response to the onslaught that Summit put forward last game.
And they just have to last another 60 seconds. Lichu trying to keep it going. The myth is making things a little bit more tense, but Messick and company will be able to finally get it cleared down. Lichu, Silly Full, double committing on that one. Tries in long hit. Ruggy, they're looking upfield. What a flip to put not only the redirect, but more power onto that one. And things getting a little bit testier. 45 seconds. Summit's within one.
Ruggy doesn't make that touch. I think Messick catches up to that ball. So that was just a great awareness play by Ruggy to just touch the ball, get extra power on it, extra speed, secure that goal, and now plenty of time for one more goal. 40 seconds is plenty of time in Rocket League for them to get one more.
And North Mesquite, I'm sure hands already very sweaty, but now maybe their temple getting equivalently perspired as they're going to have to close out this series, which is no easy task against Summit as the ball goes into the middle. Messick will be able to get there clear. Ruggy holding things up, and North Mesquite, I think their best chance here is just to really rely on the offense, keep the pressure going. But you know, sometimes a goal is exactly what you need. 3-1 here with 15 to go.
And I think this might be the nail in the coffin, at least for this game. It would shock me to see Summit turn around and then just dump 2 more goals in 15 seconds. But just a great awareness play by North Mesquite there, knowing the situation, knowing there's still plenty of time for Summit to score. So they just pot one in with a great offensive rotation. And I would like to say they've secured this game at this point.
Yeah, and this is not enough time for them to do anything with it. So North Mesquite, they will not be bowing out with a 4-0 brutal scoreline. They're going to extend this best of 7 at least one more match, taking this one 3-1. But reverse sweep still required to be able to take this victory. But games are won one at a time. Series are won one game at a time. So at least the journey, if it is begun, is at least taking its first steps.
And that's exactly the point. You win one game at a time. You can't be looking into the future. They need to be looking at the right now. Don't look to the past. Don't look to the future. Look at the next game. And that's the most important thing. You're riding the highs. You just finally broke through. You got your win. Now ride that into the next game. Don't look back. Don't look forward. Look right now and produce right now. Take that next win and then one more. And then we'll see what happens. But that's a great statement win by North Mesquite right there.
Yeah, it's great advice to also provide just the emotional stability of understanding that, looking towards the future, understanding how we have to win 3 more times against this squad can be a daunting task. Looking into the past and seeing that all those games were struggles, you ended up getting losses. That can also be kind of that emotional burden coming in from these teams as they're just trying to, we're trying to ready up these players, get them ready for that next match, going to match number 5. But I did like what North Mesquite was pulling out. I did like that it felt like the defense was at least a bit more stable, and when they were slowing down the play, it wasn't just arbitrary. I think a lot of those plays from North Mesquite at times, they like to slow it down. They go for flashy plays, they go for air dribbles, but instead North Mesquite was able to actually slow the play down in intelligent ways to hold up the rotations to their teammates so they could get boost to be able to set up passing plays to bait in challenges. I think that's the strategy. If North Mesquite's going to stick to that game plan, as we said, they are very proud about the way they play. If you're going to stick to that, you have to use it adaptively. And at least in that game, it felt like they were using it in ways that were antagonistic to the way Summit wanted to play. And I think that's what gets them that win. Whether or not that Summit is just going to come right back and be able to counter their new strategy is a whole other question. But at least North Mesquite finding some way to at least find the gaps in the armor.
Absolutely. All right, and that's just a little update there. We do have a little bit of a hardware issue on one of the team's ends. Oh, never mind. Okay, and we'll just go right into this next game here. Really looking to see, will Summit respond to this new North Mesquite formation, or will North Mesquite be able to weather the storm and take that next step on their journey to a reverse sweep?
I'll have to save 5 minutes ahead and potentially more to tear these teams apart. We started to see a little bit of spreading of score lines, though predictive validity in series like this always pretty low in previous results. And Ruggy is going to try and show us that there's something to it. They've gotten 3 wins before. What's one more? Although they are playing a little bit slower in that one. No more boost in the tank, so Trizen's going to have to gather it out of their corner. Lichu, straight down, dark, longer, clear. Messick will hold that one straight up. Silly fold. That's actually pretty eager aerial there. They get beat out. The no harm, no foul. They'll be able to get back in time to the back post, though. Dark is completely uncontested. I saw a player back, but just not positioned well enough, and Summit comes roaring out with a goal.
I'm almost wondering if they were more focused on the ball than anything, and I'm really concerned with what Silly Foal was doing in the back of the net there. I would have liked to see him out more. I feel like he was probably, his idea was to jump up. I think he had more time to get to the ball there, but that's not where I would have been in that situation. I don't think that was the right place to be, but whatever the case, whatever his explanation is for that, they need to rebound now. Don't look back, look forward. This is a 1-goal lead for Summit, and that's really bodes well if you're a Summit fan.
Ruggy, nice little catch, good flick, but Silly Fold, fantastic read to be able to keep that in, and Lichu trying to extend that play, gets a little bit of deflection. Messick misses the boost, gonna have to turn back. Silly Fold, good catch into space, is a 1-on-1, maybe a 2-on-1. They get a little bit too much of a flick, and that's a wasted opportunity in my opinion. That's a great opportunity on the stretch to be able to counter, use your numbers, but unfortunately, going to see some clunky play from really both sides here as nerves potentially getting to these squad mates as getting in each other's way a little bit. Still 1-goal lead, though, after the first 90 seconds have elapsed.
Yeah, and I think something that's hurting North Mesquite right now is, like we mentioned in the break there, in between action is they like to go for the flashy play rather than the straightforward play. And sometimes you'd got to go for those dirty, gritty goals, right? You can't be looking to make a highlight reel every single time you score a goal, and especially with the situation that they're in now where they're down in the series and down in this game. They really can't. Oh my gosh, what a great save by Tries in there. But really, they need to be making more straightforward plays if they want to get back into this.
Yeah, but there's definitely signs of life there. I do like that play by Lichu going up for that aerial, and you might feel like there's no angle for a shot there, but they're just trying to spank that off the ceiling. Unfortunately, double commits on defense, an issue they need to figure out. North Mesquite giving up a second one there.
And there was a demolition right there that removed that back guy, but still you need to have the awareness and know that that could happen. The double push on the ball there emptied up that back end, especially when the other defender was demolished. And now Summit sitting pretty with a 2-goal lead almost halfway through this one here.
Tries and tapping that one down. Silly Full off of the side wall. Only going to set up Dark for the backboard. They don't have a double, but Ruggy streaking in almost gets one to go. Halftime. North Mesquite, they've been able to get one game on the board, but now they're in the position again to have to mount a comeback. Silly Full getting denied again off of a Lichu pass. How many times can that last defender for Summit not only get the save, but then bust out a counter? We'll have to see, really. That's just unbelievable how many times they've been able to get away with that last second save. And North Mesquite's got to be banging their head against the table at this point.
I mean, what more can you ask for if you're the Summit defense? I mean, it looks like all is lost, and then again they make that save. I don't know how they're doing it. That is just incredible defense on Summit's end right now. They are making all the saves, getting all the touches they need, and just big props to them. But if I'm North Mesquite, don't get discouraged. As hard as it is, the situation that you're in, try not to get discouraged. It's difficult, but you just need to keep on playing your game.
You got 90 seconds. That's more than enough for 2 goals, though it might feel like they are miles away from being able to accomplish that the way that this Summit defense is holding, especially on the goal line. It's almost like North Mesquite can get right up into the precipice of scoring, and then they just get kicked right back down the field. So very unfortunate, but still have a glimmer opportunity here. Maybe a redirect put into dangerous position. That one's not going to go. Lichu on the follow. That's an open shot. And again, Silly Full denied Summit a brick wall in the backfield.
How many times is this going to work for them? I mean, what a defensive formation they have right now. They must have they have to just grind that out in practice. Just that dead ball, last man back situation, because they are just outstanding right now and making that clutch save when they need to on the goal line.
I just want to give Silly Full a hug. I think they've been the shot taker 3 times in a row and been denied by wildly good saves on the back line for Summit with 30 seconds to go. If these goals need to come, they need to come in quick succession. Silly Full going to get another opportunity on the near post. Messick actually turns away from this one. The fake, maybe it's strategic decision there, but it's going to burn a lot of clock off. Messick, backfield now, limited boost. They're able to get a little bit of a touch, but at this point, it's all about clock management from Summit. They're going to clear a couple balls downfield. Full with a 50. Lichu, they need to get this downfield right now, but there is just not enough time. Summit putting on a defensive masterclass, and that is going to be the avenue that they will ride all the way here to being your EGF High School Regional Champions. What a showing.
My goodness. How much more can you ask for there? I mean, they showed, though, in this series that they're a multifaceted team. They have different prongs in which they can win. You saw them take a big, huge lead, scoring and being the offensive powerhouse, and then turning around this game and saying, we'll play defense too. And every single grade A+ opportunity North Mesquite got, they shut it down last second. Just incredible defensive play from Summit there to take this series.
And oh my goodness, I feel so bad. I'm trying to remain composed, but I cannot imagine. Both of us, we're competitors. We've played at a high level Rocket League. We've played at Scholastic Rocket League. I've never been in a situation where I've just felt like everything we're throwing is just getting slightly tapped inside, off the crossbar, out, goal line save. I mean, it's one thing to have a goal line save, but 3 across the space of like 2-3 minutes, and even worse, Silly Full being the one. And there's no insult to Silly Full here. They've had great shots. It's just been all perfect positioning on the case of Summit, and that's the way they're going to close out that series. And I mean, it's well deserved as always. I mean, we can't take anything away from them. They've had a solid play style, and even when North Mesquite has been resurgent, getting those goals in, they're able to take it. And I've very rarely seen quite the defense show up in such a dramatic and kind of theatrical way, especially in a grand final.
And I can promise you, if I was Silly Full, there would be a controller-shaped hole in the wall next to me, because that is just awful. Oh my gosh. You got to feel so bad for him. He did everything he could, and just unable to make that go. Being able to play different styles of game, adjusting well to the revamp of North Mesquite's play. Just a well-oiled machine coming out of Summit, and they deserve that victory, and nothing but the best of them as they come and move on in the future.
And then speaking of moving on, Summit and Huntington High School therefore will be getting those invitations to the national championships a little bit later on in June, presented in a part by Disney. So exciting for them, well deserved in that spot, and that will bring an end to our broadcast day here on EGF Rocket League. It's been a pleasure for myself, Danger Tago, and I'm sure McFallen. Always great to be in the booth with you, to be able to bring you this action, and hopefully we can do some more in the future.
Yeah, just a great game and great series. Thanks everybody for sticking around, and we will see you next time.